Hello, YouTube. This is OmniDodo here, and
And this is Team the Lockharts.
I am joined by Mr. Team the Lockharts, and we are here in the World Championship Series of RNG dueling. That is random number generator dueling.
In the blue
Now,
corner, we have
yes,
Mythrain, who's using a penguin deck.
and then in the red corner we have Yugi514 using a spider deck.
Now,
So,
in this situation, to cut you off again, I would pick
yes,
Scissors, but Scissors just lost. Shows how good I am.
exactly. So this is why you were not entered in the World Series of dueling,
I woke up
right?
late for sign-ups.
Yes. All right. That's fine though. So we're gonna see the blue player open up here, and he's going to open up. Okay, I assume. I mean, he's drawn 6 cards, so obviously he hasn't given up yet.
That's one more than 5.
That is one more than 5 indeed. So we're gonna see what he pulls out here with this deck. He's just
And
gonna
he
set one.
sets a face-down
Oh,
monster.
that face down monster is deadly in this deck, and he pulls out the Degenerate Circuit.
Now,
First
if you guys
turn,
don't know at home,
Degenerate Circuit.
Degenerate Circuit is the main card in Mythrain's penguin deck. What it does is, whenever a monster is put into the hand, it's removed from play instead, which works well with his penguins.
Yes, these penguins can be very lethal. Oh, and we see a Pot of Duality from the spider player.
And we
Okay.
see a Cross Swords Beetle, a Howling Insect,
Oh boy.
and the Spider!
Oh no. Oh no, the spider. Now, Team the Lockharts, do you think that we're going to see any sort of Earthbound Immortal from our player in the red?
Now, if
No?
this was a flavor competition, yes.
Yes, but unfortunately, in the a contest that is based on your skills at dueling, flair does not count. It's all about the wins.
This is correct. So
Yep.
playing an Earthbound Immortal in this deck, although flavorable, probably wouldn't be the best dueling technique. And he decides to
Probably
pick the Crossword Beetle.
Yes, alright. And so we see the Crossword Beetle. Now, what, for our viewers at home, what does Crossword Beetle do?
What Crossword Beetle does is that when he has another insect type on the field with Crossword Beetle, all insects get piercing.
All insects get... Okay, so that's obviously very beneficial to what he's trying to do here, which is inflict as much damage as possible.
And make his opponent cry.
Yes, exactly. He's playing penguins.
So now the one bad drawback with Degenerate Circuit is he has to pay 500 during each of his standby phases for keeping Degenerate Circuit on the field. Let's see if the players remember to do that.
Honestly, I think that for the effect of banishing monsters instead of sending them to the hand, that's quite a fair maintenance cost. Yep, and he remembers to pay the 500 life points, so this is obviously going to be a pretty level duel.
So, some people would say that paying 500 for a card like Degenerate Circuit would be bad. But those people are in much, much better competitions.
I would say that people that are paying 500 for Degenerate Circuit are in fact degenerate duelists. So,
That is correct.
all right. Now, while we're waiting here, I'd like to take a moment. Oh, never mind. We see the player in the blue set one card. Oh, and activate an MST from his hand.
Because
Targeting-
buying MS-Teen is the smartest thing you can
Targeting
do.
the rightmost card. See,
And
no
it's a
entry.
no entry.
Oh.
You ain't
Oh.
entering this house, Yugi 514.
That can be quite dangerous to a penguin deck. He probably wants a lot of his monsters to be offensive. Now, we see
And we see a Nightmare
the
Penguin.
Nightmare Penguin.
Oh,
Okay.
and you're
so
probably wondering where that monster's going. Ain't to your hand, and it was a howling insect.
Ouch. Oh, that must hurt so badly for our player in the red here. Now, that's for those of you that don't understand what happened, he flipped Nightmare Penguin, activated its effect to return one card to the hand, but then, because Degenerate Circuit is on the field, the Howling Insect was banished, which is very detrimental to Yugi 514's strategy, because that card needs to be destroyed by battle in order to get its effect. So, a very, very strategic move done by Mythrain.
And
Now-
he takes the early lead because of it. Now, he does not have another monster, though. This could be very detrimental.
Alright, let's see what happens.
And we see a spider.
Alright. Let's see. Oh, and a torrential. Torrential.
Can you say blowy up the boardy?
I can indeed say blowy up the boardy, and I will. Blowy up the boardy. Now, just for... Oh, he's remembering to pay his 500 maintenance cost, and we see an Abyss Soldier.
That's
And a torrential from the player in the red.
torrential for
Wow.
days, man.
It is a good thing that he does not. The player in the blue is not using Torrential Reborn or Rebirth, whatever that card is called, because I think that that would be quite a strategic move in this play. And he forgets that he already normal summoned.
Awesome.
It's a good thing that Abyss Soldier doesn't have priority because that would have been much more useful in this case. Oh, and we see the Crossword Beetle that he added with Pot of Duality. And then it's going to get no effect because obviously there's no monster. And the Spider Web. Oh boy. Here we go. Now see, this is the benefit because any monster that our player in the blue decides to attack with will now instantly be changed to defense position when it declares an attack, and then he can use his Crossword Beetle to inflict piercing damage, which will, in my opinion, work out very well. And we see the creature swap.
Yeah, ooh, now that's a very good, smart play from the player in the blue, because all he was going to do is pierce through his defenses. And now he's going to pierce through his, even though he doesn't have another insect on the field.
Yes,
and it's a Pewdie Penguin.
Oh, wow.
Now, combos for days. Now, what this will do is let him bring back Nightmare Penguin in face-up attack or face-down defense position, which means next turn, if Yugi 514 plays a monster and doesn't get rid of the Nightmare Penguin, will be removed from play when he flips it.
Oh.
Combos for days, guys. Combos for days.
The player in the blue is certainly taking a huge advantage here.
If anyone at home ever wants to be in the position these two fantastic duelists are in, they're going to have to learn combos like these.
No, wow, he cannot actually put Crossword Beetle in defense mode. I don't think they realize that, but because of Creature Swap, they cannot change the battle position for the rest of the turn.
And for some reason, Yugi 514 decided to put a card from the top of his deck into his graveyard.
Alright.
Being Monster Reborn. Now, because of that, they have to put it on the bottom of the deck, a costly mistake for Yugi 514.
Very costly indeed. So, now, just as an explanation for those of you that don't know, while we're having a lull in the action here, these are what we call random number generated duels, and we see a terraforming from the player in the red. Now, the random number generated duels are things we're going to be doing in this Stacking for the Win podcast. And of course, if you have any suggestions for a deck, we'd like to see you leave them in the comments on this upload. But what we did was we picked 2 players from our group, and then we used a random number generator and a list of bad decks that we created, each given numbers.
Awful decks.
Yes, awful decks. Basically, the worst decks you could possibly think of. And then the players were given a random number, and that was the deck they had to play with. So we see the Spider.
And we see 2 defense position monsters on his opponent's side of the field, which means the effect of Spider will go off and probably bring out another Spider from the graveyard.
Oh,
combos, guys.
Detrimental.
Combos.
Although he cannot attack. I don't believe he can attack over it. That is an 1800 defense penguin, or Nightmare Penguin.
But he can Exceed Summon.
He can Exceed Summon right now, but the question is, what can he possibly go into? I mean, I could see a Diamond Direwolf play from here. However, that might not be the best. Or perhaps... Oh no, Photon Pappy Operative would probably be the least beneficial card to use from his rank 4 extra deck. And we see Lavalval Chain.
Maybe if he can't destroy it, maybe he sets up for the next turn getting the card that will help him to destroy it.
Or perhaps he's sending food for his Spider. Maybe he has a play in mind for what he wants to do.
Well, he doesn't have Monster Reborn, that's for sure.
This is true. He might have Call of the Haunted in his hand, though. You have to consider that there are more than one cards that reborn monsters from the grave. So, we're going to see Yugi still looking through his deck. Now, I'd like to take a minute here because I have... Oh, he's going to put that Doomdozer on top of his deck.
A disastrous card when he decides to flip the Nightmare Penguin. Now, Mithrain has a choice to flip it now, or to save it for the Doomdozer, hoping next turn Yugi doesn't have a play to stop it.
Indeed. Now, I'd just like to take a second to recognize one of our sponsors. That would be Pringles Potato Chips. I'm eating a Pringles right now, as you can probably hear through my microphone. And it is delicious. Now, Mr. Team the Lockharts, how do you feel about Pringles?
I think Pringles are disgusting.
Well, that's okay. Nobody likes your opinion. You're a woman.
And we still get paid for doing the sponsor.
That's absolutely true. We don't have to like it. But I do.
You just have to say that they're whatever. I don't know English.
Pringles, they're great. Okay, and we see the Nightmare Penguin flipped on this turn,
So
targeting the level chain.
he decides to bring the Nightmare Penguin. Maybe he has a play for the Doomdozer. Maybe he has another Torrential.
Yes. All right. Oh, and he deals 1,100 damage.
And we have a tie game, guys.
We have tie.
42-42.
Wow, this is getting more exciting than I anticipated, considering how terrible both of these decks are. Frankly, I think this is an even matchup.
They're both equally terrible. And he sets the card face down. Possibly the Torrential Tribute. Maybe even a Torrential Reborn.
Wow. Oh, a Torrential Reborn would be quite good now. Now, there is one tech card that
And why did Mithrain just draw a card? I don't know. Do you
I'm not
know?
sure.
Oh, it's
I
his turn
have no
again?
idea. I don't... It is his turn again.
Did Yugi 514 just pass without
Yugi
doing
514
anything?
did pass. I think he's afraid of that face down card. Now, oh, and they passed again? Wow.
What? I'm so confused.
Mithrain passed again. Perhaps,
Oh wait, oh, well, he can't put the Nightmare Penguin in attack mode.
Of course, that's right. Now, see, my inside sources are telling me that Mithrain could be running a tech card called Bubble Bringer, which is a card that came out in the Abyss Rising set, I believe, that essentially special summons 2 level 3 water monsters from your graveyard. Now, of course, running penguins, he's going to have plenty of level 3 water monsters. I mean, if he were to get those puny penguins back out, then perhaps he would have a chance of doing something well. And we see a Windstorm of Ataqua?
What?
Oh my. This duel just got more interesting.
Now, what Mithrain could be possibly setting up for a late game assault is he does have a Moon and Glacier, the Elemental Lord, in his deck.
Okay, we have one. I mean, I believe he has one water monster in his graveyard right now, too. The puny penguin brought back the Nightmare Penguin, so I believe that makes one.
If he can summon a monster, which apparently he just can't do. He brings Yugi 514 back to 31. Yugi 514 not really putting up much of defense.
Now, do we have the monster count on Mithrain's deck?
He plays about 19.
About 19 monsters, so it's very weird that he's not able to draw one right now. And we're going to see an MST on the rightmost card and a Mirror Force. A great card to hit with a blind Mirror Force, or MST. You know, we don't want that stopping his plays. And he's going to banish two insects from his graveyard, probably summoning one of his Doomdozers if he has more than one.
And there is the Doomdozer.
Alright, and, wow, that is an inherent summon, so it cannot be, it can be negated with Thunder King Ryo. Alright, now, he also inflicted battle damage, or, no, he did not inflict battle damage.
He did not inflict battle damage.
Alright.
Now, what is Mithrain? Now, we see that card degenerates. Oh, and he uses a Heavy Storm to -2.
Oh.
And there is the Bubble that he had. He did have it.
He did have the Bubble Bringer.
Now, what does he have now for the Doomdozer? We see a salvage from Mithrain.
Oh, that's a deadly salvage right there.
So he's going to bring back Puny Penguin and Nightmare Penguin.
Alright.
Now, what he could have is an Abyss Soldier, which would get rid of the Nightmare Penguin in his hand.
Oh, he does have an Abyss Soldier in his hand. That's what he has. Oh, and he's going to get rid of... Oh, he has a Mulan Glacia on hand. So you called it there. He did indeed have the Mulan Glacia, but he's not having it for long because he's going to shuffle it back into his deck to draw 3 cards. Possibly one of the best breaking even cards there is in the game right now. Alright. Now let's see if he's able to do anything with those 3 cards he drew.
He put back Puny Penguin and Moon and Glacier, correct?
Yes. Now, Team the Lockharts, what do you think he could possibly do about this Doomdozer outside of, you know, a well-played Nightmare Penguin?
He can easily return it to the hand with the Nightmare Penguin, and then maybe, even to put more pressure on Yugi 514, a Torrential Reborn.
Oh.
To even put more pressure. And there's a Penguin Soldier from Mithrain.
Alright.
Putting Doomdozer back into the hand. Okay, now, does Yugi 514 have any Doomdozer targets in his graveyard currently?
I do believe he has, yes, because he's used the Lavalval Chain, so he should have 2, I believe.
Is the Lavalval Chain an insect?
No, it's, he used the 2 spiders to make a Lavalval Chain, so perhaps he has at least one in his grave. And we see the Verdant Sanctuary.
When a face-up insect-type monster is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, its controller can add one insect-type monster with the same level from their deck to their hand.
Unfortunately, that will not be very useful against this Penguin deck, because the object of his game is to try and send the monsters back to the opponent's hand.
That is
So
correct.
we'll see if Yugi has any sort of way of getting around this or using his card effectively. And we see Puny Penguin again, a very deadly card in this match, because he can simply return all of his cards back, and he summons out another another Spider. The question is, though, is Yuki going to attack with Spider into that Penguin Soldier?
The only way Yugi 514 can get around that Penguin Soldier is if he has a face-down Solemn Warning.
He does not, because when
And Mithrain talking some shit to Yugi 514,
no.
letting him know how it is.
Alright, we're going to have to tell these players to calm down. Alright. Now, as I was saying, when Mithrain chose to activate his Heavy Storm, they did. Oh, there we go. Penguin soldiers up in this bitch. According to Mithrain, Penguin soldiers up in this bitch. I repeat, Penguin soldiers up in this bitch.
Fine words from a finer competitor.
Alright, now, anyways, as I was saying before, Mithrain activated Heavy Storm and destroyed Yugi 514's set Solemn Warning, so we know now that that is no longer a threat. And he's, again, going to return a Moulin Glacia and a Nightmare Penguin with Moray of Greed to draw 3 cards.
Now, you see, the beautiful thing about having Moulin Glacia, though, is the fear of Moulin Glacia.
Exactly. His opponent now has it in the back of his mind for the rest of the duel. There is a chance that if at any given time he has 5 waters in his grave, he could possibly drop a Moulin Glacia, taking at least 1 to 2 cards from Yugi 514's hand, and that can be very deadly in this matchup.
So, now the question is, does he flip the Penguin Soldier and risk Spider attacking him next turn?
Now, I'm going to have to say, the only way he could possibly pull that off is if he's able to use Degenerate Circuit right now, because that would make sure that those Spiders are out of the game forever. Now, unless we see Yugi 514 pull out a Return from a Different Dimension, because if he's using 3 Doom Dozer, I could possibly see a valid reason for running that in the deck, considering how he can only be run at 1. And if he were able to pull off that Return from a Different Dimension, I feel like he would definitely have the game.
Bad duelists, bad cards. I can see it.
Alright. So, let's keep this going here.
And he decided to flip the Penguin Soldier.
Returning the Spiders. Alright. Now, let's see if he's going to be cleared for an attack. And a Penguin Soldier again?
Can you say Penguin Soldiers up in this bitch?
I would indeed say Penguin Soldiers up in this bitch.
And he summons in the Gachi before he even attacks. Now, interesting move.
Oh, and a Reborn.
Now, no, shit's getting hectic.
Why? Now, Team Lockhart's, why do you think he chose not to go into an Armored Kappa?
I don't know what that card is.
It's a Psychic Ring 2 monster, but it is water.
Probably because it's too good.
Alright.
Probably too good.
Okay.
So Abyss Soldier is now a 22-beater. Explains why... Oh, and we see another Windstorm of Iroquois!
Oh. I wish that we had our friend Mike here. That is one of his favorite cards. Alright. And
now, before we get a lot of angry emails about someone liking a card as bad as that, he is mainly a judge.
Mm-hmm. He's a head judge, actually.
And you know what they say. Just because you're a judge doesn't mean you're a duelist.
Yes, exactly. And we see Gachi Gentetsu move to attack mode during the battle phase, attacking, and then, of course, because of Spiderweb, being switched to defense position. So, let's see what happens from here.
Now both players are at an even 2200. Pretty much anything goes at this point. Like, it's very even. It's an even duel. I mean, I got timed out due to inactivity.
Oh, no.
You have to keep the commentary going while I try and get back in. I will keep the commentary
going. Now, don't worry, they're at a standstill in the duel. Just to be clear, the Spider archetype came out during the 5Ds era, correct?
That is correct. It was the main villain's archetype of choice.
That's why I was wondering if there was an Earthbound Immortal in there. So, we see the player in the red set 1 card face down defense position. Now my question to you is, do
And
you
Team
think
the
that?
Lockharts is back,
All
folks.
right, excellent. Do you think that the
And
ability
he
to?
had another Moon and Glacier. Man,
Wow, wow, and
he's attacking for a possible game. And it's game
all
over.
right,
Mystery takes
game
game one.
game one, game one to Penguins. Now, as I was saying, do you think that it's very possible that the addition of exceed summoning has helped the spider deck at all? I mean, obviously, didn't help it enough to be able to defeat penguins in game one, but do you think that it added a benefit to the deck itself?
It made Spider plays a lot more live, so I would say yes.
All right, exactly. We're
Now,
able to.
while they're cited, I would like to mention another sponsor, Sea-Doo Water Products. If it's not a Sea-Doo, guys, it's a Sea-Don't.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now we're gonna have the player in the red Yugi 514 taking the first move and normal summoning a cross-sword beetle.
Early pressure.
Yes, early pressure indeed. Now, what do you think that face down could be? And opening a Moray of Greed for our player in the blue, a wonderful card to open up with.
Now, I doubt the face down will be an attack prevention card, seeing how Crossroad Beetle's attack is 1800. So I would say it wouldn't be a Mirror Force, but I can definitely see it being a Windstorm of Iroquois.
Yes, but then again, we can never predict these duelists because they are in fact using terrible cards. I mean,
that is correct.
Yes. Okay. So we're gonna see Mithrain set 2 cards. And the question is he going to set a monster, preferably a penguin soldier? I think that I think a nightmare penguin.
Nightmare Penguin would definitely be the strongest in this position.
However, I do feel a penguin soldier could help in case that Yugi 514 decides to special summon another monster, and we see straight for the attack a Mother Grizzly.
A Mother Grizzly, which will let him get basically any penguin from his main deck.
Excellent. Now,
this also signifies that Yugi 514 does not have another monster.
All right, we're gonna have to see exactly what card he's going to search out, and whether or not he's going to be able to put it in face-down defense position, considering how most of the penguins do rely on that for their effects. And we see the Nightmare Penguin, so that is an 1100 attack Nightmare Penguin. So not really putting much pressure on the board.
Mithrain doesn't know that he needs a Crossroad Beetle.
Oh, and the Torrential Reborn. Okay.
So he takes the 800 from the piercing that shouldn't happen into a Torrential Reborn for Mother Grizzly. Now,
right.
if he has a creature swap, oh man.
Okay. I can definitely see the creature swap play right here. And no. Oh wait, that's right.
It's Mithrain's turn.
Right, now it's Mithrain's turn, and we can hopefully see the creature swap play. And if he is able to in fact get off a creature swap, I can sincerely say that and we see the creature swap. We see the creature swap. I really think that right now Mithrain is in a very good position, and quite frankly, I think that if he's able to get this Mother Grizzly play off, he will be the victor of this duel and the match.
If he has a Heavy Storm in hand, this would be the time to activate it.
Yes, and we see no entry. No entry. Okay, so Yugi 514 is safe for another turn. Now, the Spider deck does in fact play a tribute card, correct?
I have Mother
Spider. Is that a 2 tribute card or a 1 tribute?
It is a 1 tribute, 2200 attack mode, and I have no idea what it does.
Alright, but if he is able to get that card out, then perhaps he could nullify the effect of Mother Grizzly, which would be very helpful in his position, considering how... and we see the Mother Grizzly returned to Mithrain's hand.
Smart moves.
Very smart move indeed, because I think he predicted that Mother Spider.
He decides to go against Shockmaster here, and instead goes in the Bahamut Shark.
That is a good play in my opinion.
Now, a victory condition that this deck has had is to go into Bahamut Shark, bring out Acid Golem, and then creature swap the Acid Golem and a monster that he controls. Something that he definitely could have done.
Ooh, Submersible Carrier Arrow Shark. He's just going straight for the aggressive play here. And we'll see if Yugi 514 is able to counteract that. Perhaps we'll see a Dark Hole, which in this position would be very detrimental to Mithrain. And I think just as that Mother Grizzly play could have been essential to Mithrain's victory, will bring Yugi to victory. And we just see him set 1 card. Now, what do you think that set monster could possibly be?
Honestly, at this point, it's his last hope for survival.
I would agree with you there. Now, do you think we could possibly see a giant rat of some sort?
I don't believe the spider deck would run that deck card, but the one thing that Mithrain does want is he wants a creature swap. A creature swap in this game is guaranteed a win for him.
Exactly. Now, does he have Mulan Glacia in his graveyard? I believe he does. Correct? I did he
He
he discarded
has,
it.
I believe, three or four.
Okay,
Because
and
he
then
activated, that's his second Moray Agreed.
yes, and then detaching for Bahamut Shark, and if
And
he
then he
normal
activated
summons,
Torrential Reborn. So he
right.
currently has three in his graveyard.
So if he detaches for Bahamut Shark, he'll have four, and normal summons another. Oh, so if he exceeds with this Mother Grizzly and detaches, oh, I think that might be exactly what he's doing. He will have a setup for Mulan Glacia, and then he can discard two cards from Yugi 514's hand.
Can we say Photon Popple Operative, guys?
I really hope so. Let's see. Oh, and we
And
see the
we
Peppy
see
Operative. The Peppy Operative.
we see the butterfly.
Okay. And now I think whether or not. Oh, Howling
Howling
Insect.
Insect. I forgot.
Okay.
He did play a giant rat. I forgot.
That is yes. That was what I was thinking of. Was the a giant rat type card.
We do
Now,
not see the Moon and Glacia.
okay. Perhaps he. Oh, I think he's waiting till he has a creature swap to get off that play. Now, do you think the use of that creature swap because it was premature?
Out of Mithrain's corner, I
Yes.
believe that the creature swap, although definitely could have been played later, I
Yes.
believe that because of it, he put so much pressure on Yugi 514, all of his resources are going to be to the point where he's going to have to use all of his resources to get rid of Mithrain's field, and then Mithrain will probably have that one card in his hand, like a Moon and Glacia, to beat Yugi 514.
All right. I think we see here that Mithrain is not playing for the turn, but playing for the end game, which is a very good strategy. All right, and he's going to pass to Yugi 514. Let's see what goes on. Yugi 514 sets one. Now, in this situation, if you were desperate, would you ram Howling Insect into, say, the Submersible Carrier Arrow Shark?
I would not want to waste my monster's activations.
All right.
He is going to lose some life points from the Photon Popple Operative play, but he would lose just as much if he just attacked, and then he would lose more resources. He needs to save all of his monsters that he can.
All right. Now, with this Howling Insect, if it gets destroyed, I could definitely see a comeback from Yugi 514 if he is able to pull off a Doomdozer play.
If Mithrain is able to pull off, let's say, a Black Ship of Corn play,
Yes. Now, see, in this position, I would not use Pappy Operative's effect because I feel like it would be best saved for the potential Doomdozer.
and
Because
we
then,
see another Carrier Shark outside of...
oh,
Oh,
oh, and he's going for it, and he cannot.
why
He
can't
can't.
he?
Oh, he can't special summon it from his from the graveyard because he has no cards. There we go, or because he has too many cards rather. All right, and he is going to overlay that back over.
Like we said, guys, the best duelists.
Absolutely. And we're going to attack into the Howling Insect with the Submersible Carrier Arrow Shark, and the effect will go through. It will go through indeed. All right. Now, why did Yugi 514 just take life point damage?
Well, he just
Oh,
gained it back, so it's
okay,
okay.
there we go. All right. Let's see what he's going to summon out here. Would you summon out another Howling Insect?
I definitely would.
All right.
I would just stall as long as you can until you can draw that Dark Hole.
Yeah. Now, perhaps he does, in fact, have a Howling Insect in his hand, which would mean he can't summon it. And we do see the third Howling Insect. So now anything would be a good play. Gigantus or Gigantes, however you'd like to say that, or a Doomdozer. Frankly, obviously one is better than the other, but a Gigantus would be good in this situation to get over things like Submersible Carrier Arrow Shark because it will be switched to defense position after Spiderweb's effect. So the Pot of Duality, so no Doomdozer here, Infernity Beetle. Okay.
That's interesting.
A potential synchro play for next turn. And Verdant Sanctuary, I think that's the card he's going to be going for right now.
I would pick Pot of Duality to be honest here.
Really, I would definitely go for Verdant
He
Sanctuary.
needs a Dark Hole.
Mm. Well, you can only activate one Pot of Duality per turn, so...
And he takes the Verdant Sanctuary.
Yes. Alright, let's see what happens. I see no reason for him to not activate that card now. Okay, let's see what happens. Alright, and a Terraforming. Wow, I don't see why he didn't do that before Pot of Duality. I feel like that would have been much more beneficial.
Bad cards, bad players.
Alright.
RNG.
Which reminds me, if you'd like to be part of an RNG duel, go ahead and like the Sacking for the Win podcast page on Facebook, and we'll be posting there when we're going to be filming one. So, yes, if you'd like to be a part of that, simply contact me or message me through YouTube. And, of course, if you did enjoy this video, or you want to be a part, or you have a suggestion for a deck, leave a comment on this video down below. So we're going to see the Photon Pappy Operative switch to attack mode, possibly just to get as much damage as possible on that Howling Insect. However, Mithrain does actually have to be careful because he's going to have to conserve his resources because he does have to keep in mind anything he attacks with will be switched to defense position when after it declares an attack.
He might want to flip his face down Penguin Monster. I assume a Penguin Soldier, maybe to return the Penguin Soldier and the Howling Insect to the hand and just keep constantly looping.
Alright, that would be a good play indeed because, I think he may possibly be scared of a set Torrential by the player in the red. If he were to, if he were to flip summon that Penguin Soldier, of course, the Mithrain still has his normal summon, but that Torrential could mean the end of Mithrain's ability to win.
And Mithrain is openly thinking.
He has no reservations about letting the player in the red know that he indeed has thoughts.
Mithrain is the type of player that will tell you he's going to get Exodia opening hand, and then not get Exodia in opening hand because he's a bad player, but will make an excuse on why he didn't get Exodia in his opening hand, most likely blaming the other player.
Yes. Okay, and we see an attack on the Howling Insect. What would you bring out in this situation? A Spider?
I would bring out anything that... Here's what I would do. If I was going to be playing insects in general, I would be playing Insectors, because that's a good archetype.
Indeed, but we have to keep in mind that this is the World Championship of RNG dueling, meaning that not only do our duelists have absolutely no control over the deck that they're playing, but they also have no control about how bad the cards they have to use are. Oh, and
or how bad they are.
Yes, indeed.
And he brings out Infernity Beetle, obviously meaning he has no more cards left in his deck.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, if he were able to save that, it would be even better, because then he could possibly get rid of all the cards in his hand, and then get 2 Infernity Beetles, but that looks like that's not going to be an option now. And
Mithrain decides to go all damage all the time. Possibly sending up for a next turn Penguin Soldier. He has face up.
And we see the Dark Hole! The Dark Hole! Okay.
Did we see a Starlight Road from the player in the blue?
If Myth...
No!
Oh, devastating. Absolutely devastating. And a puny Penguin, so he gets that effect off. Let's see.
Let's see if Mithrain remembers he has a Penguin Soldier. I doubt he will. And we see a Doom Dozer coming out for the player in the red.
Could this be the comeback for the player in the red? Bubblebringer! That's it. Oh, he cannot attack with the Doom Dozer either. Oh, a wonderful defensive play on the a wonderful defensive play on the field of Mithrain. And is he going to... Oh, that's right. He has to send
If you're going to speak, make sure you guys don't speak with cock in your mouth.
I apologize. Oh, a Torrential from Mithrain. I am certainly going to say that this is the end of this game. And that is not what that card does. Okay. Alright, let's see what happens here. Of course, he can get 2 level 3 or lower water monsters, but most of the level 3 or lower water monsters in his graveyard do not have very high attacks. So, let's see what happens. Now, see, in my opinion... Wait, is a Puny Penguin able to summon itself? Or, like, another Puny Penguin?
I believe not.
Okay. Because then I certainly would have gone with that when the effect came off, because then his torrential tribute would have been even more beneficial because he could set up for the next turn. And another puny penguin flip face up.
And he is attacking with the puny penguin.
Alright, let's see if we're going to see a mirror force here. I can't stand being attacked by a puny penguin. Now, see, I think the name of this card should be renamed because there are two penguins on the card. I think it should be puny penguins, just as Gemini elves are, or Gemini elf is a Gemini. I don't know where I was going with that. It's very late. Now, is he going to activate the effect of Bubble Bringer to special up a heavy storm? Could we see a Starlight Road?
It would be very unwise to set forward without having protection.
I sincerely hope. Oh,
And
devastating.
double torrential, a
Now,
wisdom of Iroquois,
I am
and
very
a mystical space typhoon.
I am very confused as to why our player in the blue elected not to activate the effect of Bubble Bringer before doing that.
And it is game over, folks. Unless
Game
Yugi
over.
514 has an out, Mithrain will win 2-0, meaning Penguins, and it's over, folks.
It's over. It is over. Our player in the blue is victorious. Mithrain has walked away with today's RNG championship title.
The inaugural championship title.
Yes. With the deck Penguins.
Now,
Alright, and I just timed out due to inactivity. Fantastic. So, as I was going to say, would you like to say anything to send off our viewers here, Mr. T and the Lockharts?
yes. This is why we play good cards. Because
Yes.
the bad cards are made for the good cards to look even better.
If-
My name is Team the Lockharts for Mithrain, who is currently not on Dueling Network. This is OmniDitto's channel and RNG Championship Dueling.
Alright. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed this, please leave a comment down below telling us what you think of this. And also, if you have any suggestions for a bad deck we should add to our list, please, again, leave a comment. We hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Good night, and good luck.